city of dreams.
Yep, here we go. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time, and it's time to talk about a massacre. I'm not gonna hold you. I usually have a bunch of notes. I usually have talking points. This is all freestyle. I started watching this game a few minutes late because I didn't realize the game started at 7:30 instead of 7 o'clock. So I started watching from the beginning and had to catch up. And as I'm watching the game, I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna pick it up at some point, right? This is the Knicks. We usually fight. We usually find a way. We usually make a run at some point. That never really happened. The Knicks lose to the Cavaliers 142-105. We haven't lost this bad in the Thibodeau era ever. We haven't lost by over 37 points since the Fizdale era. So this loss in front of these TNT crews is embarrassing. It's deplorable. It's humiliating. I hate seeing Stephen A. Smith's face after a loss with all his dramatics talking about the Knicks. I hate the fact that we can't beat these top tier teams as of yet. We have a lot of work to do. And here's the thing. When I'm looking at this team, I've talked about how championship teams take time to build. It takes time to build chemistry. It takes time to build trust. So even though we was going through those runs in December, I still feel like we have to beat some of these top tier teams. The Cavs aren't one of the teams I usually will say I'm afraid of, because we've handily beaten the Cavs year after year after year, except for the first game. We lost to the Cavs the first time, but to me that was like barely a loss because they beat us when Jalen Brunson was on the bench because he got injured a little bit. Today it was a different story. The Cavs have improved. Evan Mobley is a different animal. The 3-point shooting as well. They added pieces to their bench, so they're a different animal. The Knicks also, to me, are a different animal, but we still have a ways to go. Our 3-point defense still is deplorable. Bottom of the league still. Transition defense has been struggling all year. We don't really match up when we get back, and sometimes we don't get back. But a lot of times the problem is when we get back, we don't match up and we don't locate those 3-point shooters. Now, a lot has been made about Mitchell Robinson being out. A lot has been made about Josh Hart being out. I do feel like adding Mitchell Robinson to this mix of Knicks is going to be key to shortening up a good portion of the defensive issues. For one, pick and rolls in general will be better. A lot of the times you'll see these Cavs generate a lot of open threes off of transition, or just off the fact that our pick and roll is so bad, it's kind of leaving open shooters, whether it be Darius or Donovan Mitchell, open for three. And we can get better at the point of attack at that pick and roll, then we should be better overall. Like, I remember watching a play where Mikal Bridges gets screened by, I believe, Allen, and Karl Anthony Towns is in deep drop by the foul line for Donovan Mitchell. You cannot drop. You cannot drop on Donovan Mitchell at all from the 3-point line. Bruh. We cannot. Also, the big passing. Allen to Mobley to Allen. I feel like Mitchell helped clear a lot of that stuff up for sure. Because Mitch has these long arms and it gives us the ability to guard two people at once, and we severely missed that. Now, I will say though, Ariel Hawkporty, you can tell defensively he's on a different level. He he guarded to me the best he could as a big in those pick and roll situations. But you start to see the difference between a 6'5", a 6'11" guy and like legit 7-foot guys with 7'6" wingspans. Because although Haporti tried his best and he actually did break up a lob one point, just rotating, the length of Mobley and Allen still was a huge issue. And despite his efforts, he still wasn't able to slow them down as much as he could. Although positionally, I felt like Porty did as good a job as he could be considering the circumstances. So I feel like there's a lot of issues that could just be fixed by having Mitch played at 5 and Karl Anthony Towns at the 4, because Mitch can clean up a lot of things. Also, Precious Achiuwa, man, woof. Precious Achiuwa struggles usually with these bigger centers. So this matchup for Precious and the Knicks in particular hurts, because with Mobley improving his mobility and starting to learn how to use his length, it was a really hard time for Precious. Precious really could not keep up. He got abused today. He got absolutely abused today. When you're looking at the plus minus, Precious Achiuwa played 27 minutes, had the negative 25, the worst plus minus on the team. And he battled 10 rebounds. But what are you going to do when Evan Mobley with that 7'6" wingspan is dominating you and putting you in the post? Like, the matchups just don't favor us with this Cavs team unless you have another big and a mobile big who can contend with what these Cavs are doing. So, like I said before, Mitch Robinson will help clean a lot of that up. That does not mean he's the fail-safe all be all, though, because even with Mitchell Robinson back, there are still things that have to be cleaned up. Like, we got beat backdoor from corner cutters like 5, 6, 7 times. That cannot happen. Bruh. That cannot happen. We definitely have to clean that up. We definitely have to clean that up. And also the bench, man. Bench points were kind of bad today as well. Fast break points 23-6. Bench points 70-30. The 30 is kind of misleading because of garbage time. At one point, I think the halftime the bench had 8 points. Now, granted, once we get Mitch and Josh Hart back, that should solve a lot of those bench issues, because we should have more punch off the bench. But today, because of our injuries, the bench points really, really were glaring. And even guys who we usually kind of depend on to score for us on the bench, Deuce McBride, 5 points. And you know what? We've been touting how Deuce McBride has been doing well, making plays off the dribble and calling his own number. He tried to do it today. It just didn't work. He just didn't have it. And it could be a back-to-back situation, because Deuce McBride was starting yesterday, played 40 minutes. You can take that into account as well, why the bench hurt us so much. But the bench play really wasn't there today, for sure. Karl Anthony Towns defense, you already know pick and roll defense is bad with him. Also, I want to say Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was the guy keeping us in this game offensively. We did not lose because Jalen Brunson wasn't in the game. If he was playing the whole game, we still might have lost. But what I will say was there was a couple of foul calls that were peculiar to me, and even non-foul calls that was peculiar to me. One of the biggest non-foul calls to me was was when Darius Garland went to the hole and ran into Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson has the reputation of being a foul baiter. And that to me was a clear offensive foul. And they did not call it on Darius Garland. And then the next play over, they called the foul on Brunson on I forgot who exactly shot the ball. It was like baseline, where if it looked like he lost the ball himself, and they called that foul on Jalen Brunson. He ended up getting 3 fouls early. That really hurt us because he was pretty much carrying us offensively. So that's one of those things, man. That's just one of those things where we really needed our captain today to not sit out half a quarter, and the refs got the best of us. But there was fires everywhere. OG Anunoby, he just got back. He was a little bit rusty. You can't really blame his lackluster game. You can't really blame him because he just got back. He sat down for like a week and a half. He expected his timing to be off. He shot a 3. His offense was kind of weird. He was a negative 23 on the night, 1 of 3 from the field, from the 3-point line. That's not the typical OG Anunoby stat that we're looking for. Mikal Bridges offensively gave us something. Defensively got cooked. Defensively got cooked by Mikal. Defensively got cooked by Mitchell and Garland. And it's just one of those things like, what are you going to do? He played 40 minutes yesterday. It's a back-to-back. You already hear me when I talk about pick and roll defense. There's two main elements of pick and roll defense. It's the point of attack guy and the guy helping you behind you. If the guy behind you isn't playing great positional defense, you're even at a more disadvantage. Playing that point of attack, I felt like he really got cooked at point of attack pick and roll defense today. But back offensively though, hit a couple of threes in the third quarter to start to try to get a comeback going. So he showed some fight. Unfortunately, we just did not have enough. Rough game overall. The only kind of positive I can really take for this game is not even a positive. It's not even the silver lining. Really, it's just that Pacome Daddy, man. Pacome Daddy is back from his toe. He had a toe injury for a long time. He was sitting out in the G League. We really need length off the bench, like really bad, extremely bad. I love Campaign. I love Deuce McBride. I love Andrew Shamet. But we really need to develop a small forward who can defend multiple positions and shoot the 3. And Pacome might not be ready this season, but I wouldn't even be mad if he started getting some minutes this season just to develop that length, because we just need it. He came in after sitting on for a long time, hit a 3. It was trying to be active, got to the foul line. Didn't shoot well altogether, but I was just happy to see him back on the floor. Tough loss. Extremely tough loss. You already know me. I'm not going to be on the fire tips thing. I'm not a fire tips guy. To me, this game was definitely a personnel issue. We need more length. The back-to-back killed us. We had injury issues. I feel like the personnel stuff kind of hit us today. I also feel like I feel like all season long we've been good at defense. We've been bad at 3-point defense and pick and roll defense. We ran into a team that's what they do. And we are not going to win the championship unless we just get better at that thing. As much as I love Karl-Anthony Towns, my big concern getting into the season was the pick and roll defense and how teams will kind of pick on him and Jalen Brunson when it comes to that. And Jalen Brunson has stepped up defensively a lot of these games. Today he tried, but he wasn't really effective defensively today. He got torched by Darius and Mitchell for sure. You already know what happens with Karl Anthony Towns and his lack of positional defense, and how he always kind of gets caught in no man's land trying to guard the lob and guard the point of attack at the same time. He gets turned around very easily. He's gotten better at points of the season, but we need him to get another step to be better, even when Mitchell Robinson is back. Even when Mitchell Robinson is back, we have to get more out of Karl Anthony Towns defensively when we're facing these other bigs. Offensively, he's going to find his way because that's who he is. 10 to 15 from the field, 23 points. When it got to these bigs, though, 7 rebounds today might be his lowest rebounding output this season so far. Hopefully, Mitch coming back will help us get more bounds against this big front line, but we need more from him. We need more from him for sure. We need more from Precious Achiuwa for sure. We need more from our bench for sure. We just need more right now. Knicks still a good team. Championship team. Ways to go. Ways to go. Am I panicked? I'm not panicked. Am I concerned? Hell yeah, I'm concerned. I'm definitely concerned. Although we're missing pieces, the fact that we're still getting thumped by the top 3-4 teams in this league, to me, still says something. There has to be a game where we play the Celtics, where we play the Cavs, where we play OKC, where we're at least competitive. You know what I'm saying? At least competitive. Even when we're missing pieces, because even some of these teams be missing pieces sometimes, and they're still thumping us. So although I'm not all the way off the edge, like the sky's falling, woe is me, it's still a big concern that we're not even competitive in these games, and we're letting go of the rope. So we just need to do a lot better for sure. And I don't know if you guys want to vent. I already said this show was going to be a short show. The Discord link is in the chat if you do want to vent. Otherwise, we can't wrap this up. And I'll get to these comments in a minute, because I appreciate you guys supporting us in the Nick of Time show after a loss on a Friday night. God bless you guys. Y'all some crazy Knicks fans to support this channel and the KOT show after a loss like this. I'm going to get to these comments, though. Anthony says Tibbs can't make the adjustments to win a chip. Tibbs still has to prove that he can make adjustments for sure. For sure. It's funny because we've talked about this on his channel. Tibbs makes adjustments. To me, Tibbs makes adjustments the next game and not necessarily in game. So to me, when it comes to thinking on the fly in game, that has to be where Tibbs improves, and he has to show that. And to win a chip, he might have to show that. He might have to show that for sure. Carlos Lewis says OG looked off still. Nah, I agree with you. And he should look off. He hasn't played in a week and a half. So this is why when I look at this game, damn, we got smashed by freaking 40. We needed somebody else to step up. I look at OG. I look at the OG thing and go, okay, I kind of understand why he was off. So we kind of need more from our other guys since he's off, and we didn't get it from Precious. We got it from McCall, kind of, but it was kind of late. But we just needed more punch. And OG, unfortunately, when OG was hurt, I felt like he was starting to get into the swing of things. He started getting healthy. He started hitting his corner threes again, and then he got hurt. So he kind of has to reset. We play the Celtics on Sunday, so hopefully he ramps it back up and he starts looking like the old OG from right before the injury. Gamer Channel says Knicks are 9-0 this season when Precious hits a 3. Just saying. It's stat of the night, man. Stat of the night. Precious hits keep those threes coming. And it's funny because Precious has looked fluid offensively. I think the length bothered him for sure because it was a couple of times where I felt like he shot the ball and he didn't even hit the rim. I don't know if it was nerves I don't know if it's the length of Mobley kind of bothered him. I don't know if he was in his head, but he was in a nice rhythm offensively for a while. Today, not so much. Not so much in the rhythm for Precious, for sure. All right. Anna Girl says OG's rusty as hell. I agree. New Rican says, do you think last year's Knicks team lose these games by much? No. That's the conundrum with this team. Like well, last year's team, as much has been made about like Randall being lost and stuff. Like Hartenstein to me was a big deal for us defensively as an anchor. I think losing him was huge for sure, and Dante DiVincenzo for sure. Last year's team just had a fight about them where they just don't get beat like that. And even if they do get beat, you just expect their run to happen at some time. Now it's funny, like this team's ceiling is higher for sure, but there's still that grit that's kind of missing, and that grit is going to have to come from Mitchell Robinson coming back, or maybe an off-season move. That's a big reason why I keep saying I'm not sure about this season being like a chip season. So I think we still need some grittiness for this team, and I've seen the lack of grittiness when we play these top teams. The last time we played the Celtics, I felt like we didn't have the mental toughness to keep up with the Celtics, and we kind of let go of the rope mentally. When we played the OKC in the Garden, the second game, we looked a little scared. I'm not gonna hold you. We didn't look like a team that would wants to compete and had the mental edge that we had last season. There was a couple of games where I feel like we don't have that edge. But then I saw some hope. There was a game versus the Hawks that let me know, okay, maybe there's still the edge there. We had to fight to get that game. There was a game against the Houston Rockets where I saw we had our edge, but we don't have the edge that we had last year, and it's going to take a while to get that back. Yeah, but losing our heart was inevitable, man. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. The rules are the rules. We just did not have the financial backing to get them, just because the way the new CBA is set up. I mean, we got Dante DiVincenzo because of those same rules, so it helped us getting Dante those quirky CBA rules where you couldn't offer a player more than a certain number if you didn't have a certain rights. Like it hurt us when it got to Hartenstein, but it helped us to get DiVincenzo. So you win some, you lose some, right? Washington Entertainment says tired of Tibbs excuses. Kirk Heinz was 10 times worse than Tibbs. Was just better back in the day. He's a shambolic when asked to actually make better decisions. JLS Wagwan was good. He says, I'm tired of Tibbs, bro. Enough is enough. He isn't doing anything against the contenders. He has been abysmal versus contenders and Detroit to this year simple. If we weren't better against contenders last year, I would agree with you. But I still feel like this is a personnel issue. And like I said before, when you trade for Karl Anthony Towns, you're trading for offense to defense. You're trading off. So it is what it is. We're a top 2 offensive team and a bottom 17 defensive team. And we already know from years before, for Tibbs to be successful, for many NBA teams to be successful, mind you, you need a big who's going to be able to deter people from going to the rim. The Cavs had 7 dunks in the first quarter. 7. That was like a season high for dunks in the first quarter. Karl Anthony Towns is the worst rim protecting big in the NBA. So I get people are frustrated with Tibbs, and I'll be frustrated with Tibbs at times too. But at the same time, when historically your best player is the worst defensive big at the rim in the NBA, It's going to be really hard to hide that unless you have other rim protectors next to him. And unfortunately, our best rim protector right now is Precious Achiuwa, but he's undersized. Actually, shoot, Ariel Hawkporty might be creeping up on Precious Achiuwa as a good a better rim protector in time because of his size. But that's going to take some time. So like you can't just cover for players' deficiencies all the time. That's really what it is. With all of Tibbs' faults, and there's certain things that Tibbs has faults for, we just need the horses to compete. Gamer Channel says Mitch allows the perimeter defenders to be more aggressive on the perimeter. Right now, perimeter defenders have to be concerned about helping out the paint because there is no defender at the rim. Exactly. When the pick and roll defense is bad, the perimeter defenders have to get into the paint to try to help, which leaves open threes, which is a big reason why the Knicks are the worst 3-point defending team in the league. Mitch would help a lot with that for sure. Gamer Channel. All right. All right. Glamour Nick says we should have seen some fight. I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. Alicia C says we're not on their level. I agree. Washington says Jay Ellis, it takes you to a random Discord page. It's not taking you to the Discord. Hold on a second. Washington Entertainment said Jay Ellis is not. It's an excuse. Washington Entertainment, if it's just an excuse, tell me why. Why did Timberwolves trade 5 first-round picks to get Rudy Gobert if what I'm saying is just an excuse? Do you know why they did that? Because they say they're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. He is not a good rim protector. He's really bad at defense. You need another big to protect Karl-Anthony Towns point blank period. They didn't become a top defensive team in the league until they got Gobert. And it looked shaky for 1 year because of the spacing. But last year, they were one of the best defensive teams in the league. And that's because they traded for Gobert, and we laughed at them for it. We laughed at them for it at first because it cost so many picks. But at the end of the day, that's what they needed. And it's the same thing for us. And it's the same thing why, even with our success, I'm hesitant to trade Mitch. Because to me, having that long, lanky perimeter, that long, lanky big is going to help us a lot. It helped out the Timberwolves. Why not? Why wouldn't it help us out? That's all I'm saying. You're saying you couldn't get into the Discord link. I don't understand why you couldn't get into the Discord link. I tested it out before. I can try again if you want to go on. Let me see something. Let me check. And if this doesn't work, we can just see. Can I get to the Discord? I'm gonna try. Let me click. Let me see something real quick. If I click the Discord link. Well, let me see something. You know what? You might have to sign in. So I'm gonna tell you something. Washington Entertainment, the link does work. I just tested it. The thing is, you have to sign in. So if you click the link, you have to, if you have a Discord account, you have to sign into your account and it'll take you right to our waiting room. So if you don't have an account, you won't be able to join us. But if you have Discord account, the Discord accounts are free for you guys watching. It's free to make. It's free to make an account. But once you make an account and you click into that link, you do have an account. Okay, so I don't understand what's happening right now because when I click the link, it takes me right to the waiting room. So JT said Riddick says with third in standing, you can't say Tibbs is regressing until the playoffs. That's a good point, JT. That's a really good point. Like, to be honest, like if you're even looking at the rest of the team and record this year, who are we really afraid of outside of the Cavs and the Celtics and OKC? Like, I'm not really concerned. We might lose to a couple of teams here and there, but we're going to be in the playoffs. You're going to be a top 3 team. That's, to me, unless some crazy injury happens, we're going to be a top 3 team. You know what I'm saying? So to me, all these games are like dress rehearsals. They don't really mean. I'm not gonna hold you. All these games don't really mean that much to me, game to game. Like the Celtics game is gonna mean a lot. There's still certain teams like the Hawks might mean something to me. There's teams that have long, lanky defenders who I like to see how we play those teams because they always give us problems, and we always have to figure those out. But we're going to be a top 3 team. You're going to be a top 3 team. But also, even though we'll be a top 3 team, we still gonna have to figure things out. And I know some people we want to win the chip. I want to win the chip ultimately, but I still believe that's going to take time. This year is like the year where I hope we get to like the Eastern Conference Finals. It would be nice to get out of the second round this year into the Eastern Conference Finals for sure. For sure. That should be the goal. But at the same time, you got to look at these other teams who won a chip and see what path that they get to where they have to go. The Celtics were knocking on the door for years until they won a chip. The Nuggets were knocking on the door for years, won a chip, and now they fell off. Winning a chip is not easy. It takes steps. Even when you have the right pieces, you think you have the right pieces. It takes time, it takes chemistry, it takes building, and it takes building, bringing in pieces one year into another year. So I do feel like we made some strides this year. We still have weaknesses, but it might take more than this season to win a championship. It's just, well, we have to be in a hunt. We have to be in the contending hunt to win that championship. Definitely can't be a first round exit. Definitely cannot be a first round exit. I would like to get out the second round. I would like to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Even if we play the Cavaliers, we get. Here's another thing too. Josh Hart said this on our roommate show. Even if Josh Hart comes back, if Mitch is back, Josh Hart should not be starting versus the Cavs. And Josh Hart said this himself, and he's absolutely freaking right. Like, what is 6'4" Josh Hart going to do against Evan Mobley? Not a damn thing. When we play the Cavs, our starting lineup for the Cavs should be Mitch and Cat. If we match up versus the Cavs in the playoffs. Like, absolutely. And then have Josh Hart come off the bench. Gaming Channel says this is a 3 to 5 year plan. Yeah, I agree. Big picks with Timmy. We gotta talk about. Let's talk picks. Does the Discord link work to picks? Because Washington Entertainment is telling me he clicked the link and it doesn't work. And he says he uses Discord all the time and and it's not working. Okay, I see you in here. You know what? Maybe. Okay, so picks is in. Okay, you know what? Why does it work for picks and not work for? I definitely see them. You know what it is? You know what it might be? Maybe it's because I'm set to private. Maybe you have to follow. Let's see. Because y'all were you were part of our Discord for a while already. So maybe it's I have to invite you guys first. Or maybe you have to like join the Discord, join my particular Discord first. Maybe that's what it is. It's so weird because I tested it with Lee. Lee just went right into the room, and I don't. He never joined our Discord before, so that's interesting. All right, let me bring Timmy in here real quick. Interestingly enough, can you hear me? Wait, Timmy, are you in? Let's see. Okay. Yo, Timmy, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's good, Jay Ellis? How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's going on, Timmy? How you been, man?
Yo, it's a crazy world out here, man. And the Knicks ain't making it any better today, man.
This listen,
Not
man,
all,
we
yeah,
all stressed out. Like I was mad excited to watch this game, and I quickly became unexcited.
bro. It's crazy. At least, all right. So I got a couple of things for you, man, because I know we usually do like anime club, right? Let me go ahead and get to it, man. Bunko Stray Dogs, yeah. Check that out when you get an opportunity, man.
Yo,
It kind of
actually,
You're on there.
I'm on that. Shout out to my sister. Her she changed her Crunchyroll password, so I haven't watched it in a couple of weeks. But yo,
Yo,
I was
facts,
watching. I was on like
facts.
season 2 or 3, and then I have to really pay attention because it be in Japanese. I'll be doing 30 things at once. But I'm gonna get back on it because they got. But that's a really good one. Yeah. Forgot about that one. Thanks for Timmy. I gotta get back
Facts,
on that.
facts. Yo, no doubt, man. No doubt, man. And I hate anytime we actually have to play on ESPN, man, because I feel like it's like getting your ass whooped in front of your mom or something. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like we got the whole nation watching. It's just bad. But look, man, there's a couple of good things that I can pull out from this, right? So last year, Knicks played the Cavs at the Cavs, and Josh Hart was snatching chains. Brunson was resting a hurt ankle, and pretty much it was Josh Hart and a merry band of fools out there,
right.
and we went crazy on them, right? I think they never forgot that. Then we smacked them up in the playoffs a couple of times too. So they were like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get the Knicks assistant coach, and we're gonna bring him in with Kenny Atkinson. We're gonna groom these dudes to be the best that they can be. Yo, I'm sure they've all had the Jalen Brunson experience. They know what it is that way,
They
right?
do.
So with JB, man, like the next evolution for the Knicks is for him to get the hell off the ball. Yo, I'm sorry. Like I understand how JB starts his offense, but as far as the way that I look at him as a weapon for this team in this particular set, he is a weapon everywhere. He doesn't have to have the ball. And if you want to use an example of like the type of gravity that he has, a lot less than this. If you look at like a Golden State offense, Curry doesn't have to have the ball in his hand 24/7.
Right.
Like he can move off of the ball and create opportunities for everybody around him. And literally every single other person in our offense has an opportunity to be able to play make, even down to Cat if we're running him at the five. Jay Ellis, another thing, man, like I said this kind of like a couple of episodes back, and I think it was so far reaching that everybody was like, yo, what is this dude talking about? Yo, Josh Hart is our point guard. Like straight like that. Josh Hart is our point guard. He has one of the best understandings of pacing as far as any of our guards, whether it's first or second unit. His playmaking is good, and he can get to the rim to create for others. Not to mention, just he has one of the best connections with setting up JB and understanding where he is. And JB's constantly looking to him for a bailout option. I've seen him throw it to Josh Hart with like 0.5 seconds left in the clock just to see what will happen, right? But for me, with this particular unit, it's like, yes, I do understand the length conversation, but at the 3, 4, and 5 spot, all of those spots have a 7-foot, more than a 7-foot wingspan. If you're talking about Kale, OG, and whoever,
right,
that's more than a 7-foot wingspan. Not a lot of teams can even say they have that at 3, the 4, and the 5. With us, it's just a matter of everybody being able to be on a string. And right now, with Cat, he got to be motivated. He's only going to be motivated if you get him the ball early. Like, he has to be engaged in the game. JB got to do his thing too, and he got to be who he is. Josh Hart is just the glue, dog.
You know what it is, Timmy? Like, there was a time where we was getting like 30 assists a game, damn near like clockwork. But it was like when those 5 guys are together, they were getting 30 assists a game. I feel like once that band broke up and now you got Precious up there with Josh Hart, I feel like it kind of messed with the offensive chemistry and the flow of the offense because now what's happening is you throw it to Precious. If you throw the Precious at the top of the key, he's just throwing it right back to you. He's not even looking at the rim. Like, not even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if I'm the guard and I'm just like, all right, I'm just throwing it to this guy just for him to not do anything or throw it back at the rim. Now it's like, I got to shoot more. So I feel like once Precious got into the starting lineup and there was no OG and it was McCall and the usual, I think it got into I got to shoot more mode. And he has to kind of still find a balance and not just revert back to that when somebody's out.
Facts. That's exactly what I'm saying too. Because if you go through the same stint and you put Precious with OG and Kyle in that first unit, I think he's just going to find a higher comfort level, especially on defense, man. Because it's just a lot to make up for. It's a lot to make up for sometimes with Cat. Cat be really in his non-committal bag on the defensive side of the ball. He's like, oh, y'all ain't gonna feed me today? Okay, bet. I'm not playing defense. But I think Josh Hart, if you do whatever they decide to do, and honestly, Tiz could flip this probably like 3 or 4 different ways that I can think of. Like, if you wanted to, I think between Deuce, Precious, and Josh Hart, like, there's some rotations that you could do with your starting unit or bench that could all be effective, depending on, whatever your matchup is. But honestly, to me, I think Josh Hart is really that X factor for this team where whether you're putting him with the bench unit or the first unit, like, he's just going to have such a great impact on the pacing of the game and really the defensive end too, just the energy he brings.
No, that's a fact.
He is a big piece for us.
No, he's the heart of the team. Even though I don't like him on Evan Mobley all game, even if we just had him off the bench as a disruptor, and like coming in for McCall or OG when they sit, like, that's still valuable for us. So you're absolutely right, and that gets back to my point about the depth and the bench points. We have Josh Hart with Mitch Robinson. Our bench should be a lot stronger. Our bench should be a lot stronger just because we have a lot better NBA players on the floor. So I agree with you.
Man, the thing that I'm happiest about with Mitchell Robinson coming in is the fact that we're going to average even more offensive rebounds per game than we've been getting. Like, the defensive rebounding end, we're okay, we're doing pretty good. Cat's doing pretty good with defensive rebound, and everybody's helping out. But offensive and second chance opportunities, that is going to be crazy for this team with the number 2 offense in the league.
Yeah, that's one of those things that can help us out tremendously to get to a number 1 offense.
When JB's on the floor,
it can definitely help. It'll definitely help the defense.
He's not trying to really push it. Like, he wants to take his time with it. Cool, no worries. You got Mitch out there for a second or third chance opportunity. It's a lot. Yeah. Like, I think we're missing such big pieces right now. People will look at this particular game and be like, oh, this is what we are. We haven't seen what we are. We're not even close to what we are. Mikal, OG, and Mitch haven't even been on the floor at the same time together. And look what Mikal and Mitch did just in the short period of time that they were on the floor together in the playoffs last year. It's crazy.
I agree.
Yo, my hopes are high, bro. I'm still.
I agree. Like, I'm still concerned though, Timmy. I agree. I definitely agree that Mitch changes the complexity of this team defensively.
I can't hear you no more, Jay Ellis. I don't know if you're still there, bro.
What happened? What you
anyway, man. Yo, salute to the chat. Salute to you, Jay Ellis, man. I'm gonna hit y'all up, man. Peace.
All right, yo. Salute to you. Shout out to my guy Timmy, man. I'm still concerned. The Mitch does make a huge difference because, like I said before, I feel like even Mitch being in the pick and roll situations is going to help our 3-point defense because the wings don't have to help as much. They can stay home. So he's going to help us tremendously. But we still, as a team, got work to do on our transition defense. Linking up, finding players in transition and guarding those guys. Working on our back cuts because we got beat backdoor a few times. Like, there's other things that we still have to clean up that doesn't have anything to do with Mitch. But Mitch is definitely going to help us for sure. All right, yo, that's the show. That is the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. No new anime is out right now that I'm watching. Shout out to the anime that Timmy was watching before. What I will say though is a new Avatar is coming out on Nickelodeon, so I'm definitely keeping an eye out for that. And the Avatar is supposed to be twins, and this Avatar is supposed to be like they're not supposed to be saviors of the world. They're supposed to be like destroyers of the world. So this new Avatar coming out should be fire. So I gotta keeping an eye out on that for a third installment of Avatar. So definitely gotta look out for that. But yeah, I'm just throwing this away. I'm throwing it away in the can. We still have a lot of work to do. I can't wait to have our pieces back. And yeah, man, I'm gonna see you guys next show. Hopefully it's a better showing against the Celtics because I'm so tired of hearing that the Knicks can't compete with these top teams in the leagues. And I guarantee you, everybody in that Knick locker room is tired of hearing the same thing as well. And I guarantee you, Jalen Brunson is probably more pissed than everybody. So I'm hoping for a better showing Sunday. And I'm hoping that OG Anunoby gets his legs together. I'm hoping that Josh Hart comes back. And I'm hoping we smack the Celtics, man. I want this game. All right. That's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to New Eurekan. Shout out to my girl Glamour Knicks. Shout out to JT Reddick. Dave Ross. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. I F's with y'all the heavy way. All right. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, you already know the deal.
Shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.